Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I am more than disappointed. I'm amazed that we're here considering a highly partisan, damaging piece of legislation to kill Dodd-Frank and harm consumers. I'm especially disappointed that we're here today given so much pressing work remains undone. Reauthorization of the flood insurance program, homelessness, and changes to our broken credit reporting system. What's more, just last week, we saw more than 2 million fraudulent accounts were opened by Wells Fargo, enough for every resident of the state of New Mexico. And yet, our chairman has uttered nothing about this major scandal. One executive directly responsible for this fraud walked away with a $125 million golden parachute. And while the Senate Banking Committee has moved quickly to schedule a hearing, we have nothing planned on this. In fact, we sit here today with legislation that makes it even easier for executives to escape accountability to their shareholders. Indeed, we're debating legislation that takes us back to the summer of 2008. Mr. Chairman, you need to listen to this. 8 years ago doesn't feel so long ago to most Americans. Americans remember all too well the horrors of the financial crisis. It left 10 million individuals displaced, more than the entire population of Michigan, and it totally uprooted families from places they've long considered home as individuals moved in greater numbers than during the Dust Bowl of the Great Migration. It stripped people of their life savings and put their jobs on the chopping block. Research shows that young people who graduated during the financial crisis will see lower earnings for the rest of their lifetimes. And it exacerbated an already unacceptably high wealth gap for African Americans and Hispanic Americans. In response to this devastation, the Dodd-Frank Act made sweeping changes to our financial regulatory system so that our economy would never again be threatened by special interests. Yet, here we are, pretending that the crisis never happened and considering toxic legislation that takes us in exactly the wrong direction. Let us be clear about who would benefit from the Republicans' wrong choice: Wall Street and other special interests who have been fighting against financial reform since before it was enacted. The regulatory rollbacks in this bill knows no bounds. Nearly all the rules we enacted to make banks safer and stronger would be repealed and replaced by a phony, choose-your-own regulatory scheme that puts the banks in the driver's seat. Our largest financial firms would no longer need to file living wills to explain how they could unwind safely, and the shadow banking industry would escape oversight and retreat back into the darkness with the effective repeal of the Financial Stability Oversight Council. This is all the more outrageous because crisis-era executives at AIG, the shadow banking giant, are on trial this week for manufacturing fraudulent reinsurance transactions in order to cook the company's books. Even worse, this legislation proudly says to consumers, you're on your own. If you want to fight a $1 trillion bank over fraudulent charges or bogus accounts, good luck going up against a powerful institution with millions to spend on lawyers. We need to look no further than just last week to see why we need a strong Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which used its authorities under Dodd-Frank to uncover a massive scheme under which millions of consumer accounts at Wells Fargo were fraudulently opened with the bulk of this fraud perpetrated in my hometown of Los Angeles. But rather than enabling the CFPB's important work, we're here today tearing the Bureau down. The bad doesn't stop here. The bill would all but prevent the Securities and Exchange Commission from ever bringing reinforcement cases against bad actors. It continues Republicans' assault by subjecting all of our independent financial regulators to the Republicans' dysfunctional appropriations process, and it would whittle away at the independence of the Federal Reserve by meddling in interest rate policy. Further, despite repeated failed attempts by the majority to repeal Labor Department's fiduciary duty rule that will protect our seniors from conflicted retirement advice, this bill doubles down and not only would repeal the rule, but effectively prevent the SEC from moving forward on its own similar rules. So, Mr. Chairman, I stand with all Democrats on this committee and strongly oppose this bill, which is the wrong choice for America. And I just think your timing is interesting. At a time when we learn about Wells Fargo and AIG, CEO is on trial, thank you for bringing this bill forward so that we can shine the light on exactly what you're doing to dismantle Dodd-Frank here today. I yield back.